You may have heard about 5G cell service. It simply means the 5th generation of cell phone technology, and it is coming to Madison eventually.
But just exactly what is it, and how will it impact our lives? We asked Mark Kane to get some answers. Turns out it's complicated.
5G, the 5th generation of cell service, promises speeds of up to 100 times faster than the current 4G service.
With 5G, what we're supposed to be able to do, the specification by the Internet Telecommunications Union.
There is one.
There is one. They say a minimum of 1 million devices per square kilometer.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so I went and looked it up. Madison, about 1,100 people per square kilometer. So, like, between you and me, that's 2,000 devices each.
All 4 major U.S. carriers have some sort of 5G service, but it's only in a few cities and only in a few neighborhoods. Verizon has spotty service in Chicago and Minneapolis, and that's partly because 5G requires its own cell antennas. Wireless companies in the U.S. say they'll need to install 300,000 new antennas for the rollout of 5G. An antenna every couple of blocks, like this experimental one at Westtown Mall in Madison. That's going to be a challenge for cities.
When it comes to public land and public right-of-way, they're going to have to work with the city. So that could mean poles, light poles, city buildings, anything that might be public infrastructure in the public right-of-way. Typically, that's where they will be located.
The companies have to get permits before any antennas can be installed, and that process is pretty strict in Madison.
The guidelines are in place for a reason. From FCC regulation, for health concerns, for public right-of-way and public infrastructure standpoint, those are all in place to try to protect that.
So once everything's in place, then what? First, you'll need one of the few pricey 5G compatible phones, like the $1,300 Samsung S10 5G. And how fast is 5G? Well, one of the biggest challenges in testing the signal is finding it in the first place. But once you do, it's pretty darn fast.
It's going to be really nice at first, then it's going to get pretty crowded. Then we're going to find out they'll have to solve this problem where we can't get through walls.
Yeah, it's a little inconvenient to have to be outside to use your phone. Yes, you heard right. Cell companies are now focused on speed. They're using something called the millimeter wave. It's the fastest and most responsive form of 5G, but it doesn't travel very far.
The minimum speed you should expect as a user would only be double what you get right about now.
It's pretty fast now.
It's reasonably fast. People seem to want to be able to download an entire movie in 10 seconds. I don't know who can watch them that fast, right? But the argument that always comes up is, oh dear, I really have to get on a plane. Quick, I have 10 seconds. Get me the nearest movie.
So in order for 5G to be more reliable, companies will use mid and low band frequencies. It won't be as fast, but it'll work both outdoors and inside buildings.
So round trip time from my device to its destination and back in a millisecond? It takes you about 100 milliseconds to blink. So this would be the stuff that's ultra reliable and low latency. It's going to be more robust. We're going to have more of these antennas around. If we end up in this high spectrum, we're going to need more of it.
The FCC is trying to free up more frequencies.
We're going to have to allocate more space in those lower bands, preferably in the low bands, because then, you can go up to Hayward and have your movie in 10 seconds.
Faster phones are just an incidental benefit of 5G. Without it, there'd be no self-driving cars or robotic surgeries.
They're talking about the traffic lights being online. They're talking about flood detection being online, flood sensors. When we start to automate all of these things and we automate all these sensors and then the things that go and address the sensors, you get a smarter city.
5G right now is a work in progress. The 4 major carriers promise nationwide coverage by the end of next year. And when will we see it in Madison? Stay tuned. I'm Mark Kane, News 3 Now.
And once 5G service eventually makes its way here, don't worry, your current 4G phone will work just fine.